I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
McLean, fly ball, center field. Lockridge is back. Lockridge makes the catch. 14 in a row for the Milwaukee Brewers. The hottest team in the land comes from behind, and they win it in 11.
Let's not forget moments like that before we start this season, okay? 14 in a row was a big deal last year. And per Jeff Levering there, from whatever the TV network was called, FanDuel Sports. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
It hasn't been that long. It still exists.
Except for the Brewers, it doesn't. Do we know your channel yet?
No, but I think we're going to know in, 24 hours. Ish.
Over under 6:02 a.m. tomorrow morning. Got it.
No, still go over, but we'll know tomorrow.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sports Book. I don't want to forget those moments from last year, man. They were the hottest team in baseball. The best record, the number one overall seed.
There's so many memorable moments last season. It was more than they just played good baseball or that they made it to the NLCS. Yeah. They gave us the burger run. We almost had 2 burger runs in one season. They beat Team Streak. Like when fans of the 82 team and way back in the day talk about, well, then there was Team Streak. Oh, you're talking about the 2025 Milwaukee Brewers? Is that who you're referring to? Because they have the new streak.
Remember that one time we swept the Dodgers in the regular season?
That was nice.
All right, let's play catch up.
Look at you going all pessimistic. God, my least favorite part of the day.
Packers.
We've only just begun.
Yeah.
Who is going to be the Packers' backup quarterback? That's the question. Matt Schneidman from The Athletic thinks maybe Kirk Cousins?
So here are a couple names that remain unsigned, veterans on the free agent market, who could be of interest to the Packers. Let's start with the most notable one, Kirk Cousins. Ever heard of him? You know who Kirk Cousins' first quarterbacks coach was in the NFL in Washington? Matt LaFleur. Could that be a fit? Potentially, since the Packers need a backup quarterback.
You know, it's really interesting hearing Kirk Cousins. If you listen to the Mason Crosby show from noon to 2 here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, Mason had his agent on last week. And his agent also represents Kirk Cousins. And he was talking to him just about the deals that they've gotten done for Kirk. And his story, I mean, has to be one of the most successful, you did a good job picking your agent stories ever. Right? I mean, that dude has just made so much money. So I definitely don't think he's done. I would be surprised, though, if he ends up as a backup in Green Bay. I think he's going to end up being a starter when someone goes down from injury. It'll be like he'll sit in the wings, wait until a team desperately needs him, and then he'll go, yeah, I can still sling it. Pay me X amount of $1 million.
Desmond Ritter's here. Kyle McCord is here. Should they be it? Or should it be somebody like Kirk Cousins? Is he too expensive? Bill Huber put out an article this week of a list that could be backup quarterbacks. We never worried about this much in the past until Malik Willis. And we're like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, he changed the perspective completely. Totally. I think the other thing is that we were used to, like we think about when Rodgers went down, right? The backups that were in for Rodgers, it was like we just essentially said, well, the season's over. Right. It wasn't
Brett Hundley.
Right. It wasn't, okay, well, we have this guy. We'll be okay. We could still maybe. That was never the mentality. The mentality is, oh, my God, Rodgers went down. The season is over. That was it. Then with Love, you have Malik Willis, and that was never the mindset. It was, well, Malik, I mean, they might be okay. They still have a chance.
to the point where the argument was, is he better than Jordan Love?
Right. And now he's getting paid because of those questions being asked. But I think it did change the Packers fan mentality of, hey, we're not going back to the Brett Hundley type of backup QBs. We need someone who can actually sling it here in case something happens to Jordan Love.
I'm not going to remember his name off the top of my head, but there was one veteran quarterback that came in.
Seneca Williams.
Thank you.
There you
That's
go.
it.
Yep.
Seneca Wallace.
That was it.
That didn't go well.
Nope. But we had the same thought. We were like, okay, hey, this guy might be the answer. Nope.
Yeah. There's a lot of teams that have those thoughts. Let's not forget the Packers have had quarterback golden horseshoes up there, you know what, for some time.
Mm-hmm.
And Malik Willis is hard to see walk away. But nonetheless, we're going to still wait on that game, and I'm guessing the NFL draft will help that play out just a bit. On to the Brewers.
Brewers.
Busy day. Busy day for Brewers baseball today. So much to share with you guys about yesterday in the last spring training game, the audio from the locker room, and what we need to be ready for with the Miz taking the mound tomorrow. Let's go here first. Brewers win. Jake Bauers continues to be an absolute absurd problem for the opposing team. He went yard yesterday. We'll hear from that play-by-play call from Lane Grindle coming up in the most electrifying sound of the day. But yesterday also wrapped up spring training. So, Murph, what did we learn?
I think, did we get everything we wanted to get out of it? No, I mean, could have had a few other guys really step up and a few other guys be swinging mid-season form or something like that. But be careful what you ask for, you know what I mean? And be careful what you think you got out of spring training. Be careful. Because it's tricked me for 11 years. So when someone's got the answer, let me know.
Thought that was interesting.
Such an interesting answer. It's you're back-to-back manager of the year, and you admit that for the last decade, you've been tricked coming out of spring training. What does that mean? What did you think coming out of spring training that then went completely different?
Well, we've talked about this for weeks where somebody like Jake Bauers can rake in spring training and then have an absolute turd of a season because the bigs is just different.
Sure.
So is that what he's talking about? Is somebody over the last 11 years either performed very, very well in spring training and didn't in the regular season, or vice versa? Maybe it was awful in spring training and then they get to the bigs in the regular season and we're like, oh, hey, welcome back.
Right. Well, I think also, though, I'm hoping, going to your strategy of hope, that the reason why and the different goggles that Murph and the coaching staff wear when they're analyzing spring training in comparison to when we are analyzing spring training is they're not looking at the numbers. They're not necessarily looking at, all right, well, he hit 4 home runs, he had 6 ribbies, and this, all right, he made the roster. They're being able to tell, like, all right, power increased a lot when he, had his foot, lifted that foot half a second higher, and those type of things that will translate to facing major league pitchers or batters, whatever it is, not just the numbers, because that's what we look at as fans. But we know those numbers mean nothing. That's why we joke and we say, hey, they lost. Good thing it doesn't matter, because it really doesn't. But the mechanics and what the people that are literally paid millions of dollars to analyze and study and make those decisions based off of, I'm hoping those are the changes that they saw that helped them make the decisions they did.
And will they stick? And was it just against spring training baseball and pitchers trying to figure out what pitches to throw so that they're ready? So many variables, and to Murph's point, roll the dice. We're not sure what's going to happen. We are sure that there was a trade yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, might as well get that out of the way right before opening day.
Just last second trade, no problem.
You ever heard of Jake Woodford?
Nope.
What about Casey Hunt?
I love his reserve though, Woodford. See what I did there?
Double oak.
See what I did?
Might have had, maybe had a double oak Woodford Reserve Old Fashioned in Gatlinburg.
Oh, I was gonna say if you had one yesterday in honor of this trade, that would have been so cool. Okay, that'd been nice.
Here's the Jim, Matt Arnold, on what's it all about with Jake Woodford.
Guy we faced obviously with St. Louis. We have some history with him, and he's an interesting arm that can play, a valuable role in a number of different spots in our bullpen or potentially even at the front of games. So again, just at the point where we wanted to add some depth, and he's right-handed, and I think we're obviously a little more skewed to the left-hand side, so we feel like he's a really good fit for us.
29-year-old right-hander who has started and also been out of the pen. That's where Matt Arnold was saying he could fit anywhere.
Can we quickly talk about how many times we've heard or will hear this season Matt Arnold talk about depth? I mean, all through spring training. That's been if there was one word to describe the Brewers going into the season so far, it is depth. That is the word.
And it's been mainly about pitching, correct?
Yeah. But I mean, I brought up the bag of prospects, depth. I mean, they are like, no. We're going to have so many baseball players. We're just going to have a ton.
It's hard to argue that that's what the Brewers do best. Now, does that come with questions? Yes. And Christian Yelich was asked some of those questions. We'll hear his answer on that very thing in just a bit. But the guy throwing tomorrow had some questions asked of him yesterday on the Pat McAfee show on ESPN. And it was glorious.
Amazing.
Absolutely glorious. We have a bunch to play back for you. Josh, at any moment during your sports career, and specifically when you were going for your 300s in bowling, did you black out?
Yes.
100% chance. Okay, good.
Yep.
It happens to me all the time in big moments. Happens in sports, happens in big. I blacked out with that putt at the Phoenix game. Completely blacked out. Don't remember seeing it go in. Don't remember that stupid non-celebration thing I had. Totally blacked out.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's also happened to Pat McAfee, and it happens to the Miz when he's on the mound.
What are the final thoughts going through brain while you're pitching or right before pitch? Do you have final pitch thoughts, or are you completely locked in, blacked out whenever you're up there?
Oh, it's blacked out. Yeah, we're just listening to our catcher back there, Bill, and, going after it every pitch.
So when do you black out? Is it during the pitch, during the entire inning? When you go on the field, you don't know what happens until you come back, you still don't know what happened out there, or just during pitch to pitch?
No, it's when you cross that line, you kind of flip that switch and you kind of black out and do what needs to happen, and you make it work.
I love everything about that.
That's so
incredible.
Awesome. Right after that, he was talking about just waiting for the next blackout. And Boston Connor on the set at Pat McAfee goes, "Aren't we all?" It was so funny. Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? Can I just say, like, when it comes to athletes, there have been way too many times when you'll see an athlete, someone in college, and you'll be like, gosh, that person's 19 years old. They look like they're 37, right? They just look massive and older. And when you hear Jacob Mizorowski talk, do you not hear like a high school kid?
100%. And then you look at him and he smiles and he's got a big old mouth of gums and teeth. And it's like, all right, you're a child.
Right. He's 23, but there are a lot of 23-year-old athletes that do not look and sound like they're still in high school. Usually it's the opposite. Usually it's like, okay, there's a reason why you're a professional athlete because you're built different. Miz literally looks and sounds like he would be his own age or younger. It blows my mind, man.
Well, is he responsible enough to use the new ABS system, or is that falling on the catcher alone? Here's what he had to say about that.
Do you guys as the Brewers have a role, or do you have a role as a pitcher? Are you going to be the one that reviews it? Or are you going to let William Contreras, the catcher, do the reviewing? How's that going to work for you guys?
I believe for us it is off of Bill and William Contreras. But for me, there's not a chance in the world I could ever see the zone and take a guess. I mean, I'm falling off the mound. I'm throwing a, full go. So my head's moving all over. So no,
hold on. So this is interesting. So you don't know if it's a strike either. Those ones that are like kind of close?
No, not even close. Bill catches it well and he frames it and I'm like, oh, that's there. And then, to find out I'm 2 inches off and it's like, oh, I really thought that was in zone. So.
Did you hear what I heard?
Incredible.
But there was a nugget there. Did you hear?
What?
It sounds like the Brewers pitching staff has had a conversation with coaches and catchers, and Wild Bill, William Contreras, will be the one to use ABS, not the pitchers.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me for a lot of reasons.
Me too. I just didn't suspect based on there's only 3 people that are allowed to use it: pitchers, catchers, and batters.
Right.
The Brewers have like, don't you dare touch your hat, pitcher.
Yeah. I mean, but then when you hear Miz say that, you go, yeah, good call.
100%.
If he has no clue, which makes sense. Like, have you ever like done a speed pitch? Like, you know, at one of those at Carnival or something to just see how fast if you are really trying to launch it as hard as you can, like, I don't even know if my eyes are open.
Right.
Like, I'm just, and then it's like 57. But like, I'm throwing it as hard as I can. I can't tell you exactly everything perfectly. Apparently, neither can the Miz.
The Miz has a new pitch. It's a changeup, and now he is a 4-pitch promising machine. But where'd the changeup come from, bud?
Yeah, I got a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup is new. Just started working on that again this offseason, so that's probably the one I'm bringing in. But you know, I got the 4-pitch mix.
Changeup is new. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things that you got to keep working on it, and you know, it's like the change. It's like all the pitches are like the same. You know, you're just changing how you're holding the ball in your hand. It's not really how you're releasing it. It's the same release point and same distance out, but no, it's how your like grips on the ball. So different things like that.
And he was talking about where his landing spot is. Is it too close? Is it too long? Is he missing high? He was using words about pitching in baseball that I didn't know existed yesterday.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that was the case, though. Like, he should be, right?
True.
But also, if Miz has a nasty changeup, like if that's a new addition to the arsenal and he's able to have command with that, oh boy, look out. Look out.
What happens, though, when he hangs one and somebody goes yard on him? How does the Miz feel about the bat flip?
How are you about with the bat tosses?
Do it. I'm going to celebrate too when I get out of an inning, so go for it. You hit one off me, be my guest.
He does celebrate off the mound a bit.
We saw that. Yeah.
So the last piece of audio from the Miz interview yesterday, and there were so many amazing things. We covered so much. Blackout. He's got a changeup. ABS system. Talked about what it was like when he first got in the show last year, and did the game ever catch up to him? And he said, yep, it happened to me at New York against the Mets. Somebody hit a dinger off of me, and I kind of lost myself. He wants you to bat flip. He also talked about scientists have found that from a human arm, the baseball can only go 106 miles an hour at most. And right now, at the most, Miz has thrown a baseball 104.2 or 104.3 miles per hour. Now, does he have that juice at the start of the season? Not sure. Mid-season? End of season? He thinks that's when he's going to see it. And of course, McAfee goes, well, if you hit 104 on Thursday, we'll donate $100,000.
104.6, you said?
2 or 3, I can't remember. Yeah.
Okay. When would you start hitting 104 again? Like mid-season now? Like when would you start hitting that again? Actually.
I mean, I'm hoping it's there opening day, but you know, probably middle season, end of season, but we'll see.
You go 104. Well, I don't want to. I'm not doing that. No way.
No, he's got it in the bag. You can do it.
Okay. If you, I don't
throw
want
his shoulder out.
I'm not going to be a part of this. Actually, I'm not going to do that. We'll donate $100,000 if you had 104 miles an hour on Thursday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the legend, Jacob Mizorowski.
Yeah,
the legend, Jacob Mizorowski, comes from him introducing him as Mike Mizorowski. Whoops.
I love that he walked that back, by the way, going, I'm not going to have all of Milwaukee pissed at me if he goes and tries to do this because of a bet I made and then throws out his arm.
100% true. But you had to have thought about that, right? Whether he throws out his arm or, I don't know if you've seen Miz pitch, but the wild thing comes out from time to time when he's trying to go for the gusto.
Correct.
And we don't know where it's going to go.
I would not expect him to be full go. We talked to Tim Allen about it. I don't think he's going to go more than 5 innings. I would be stunned if he goes more than 5 innings. I think they're going to be easing him in. I think it's the opposite of, yep, balls to the walls, go for it, Miz. We need you.
The Nicolay Law talk and text line, 414-677-1250. The 414 says, hey, good morning, boys. Is there an app that I can listen to you guys on? Radio has lots of static again this morning. Yes, there are numerous apps. One's the Odyssey app. You can search WSSP. That's 105.7 and 1250 AM, The Fan in Milwaukee. You can download the WNFL app, WNFL Sports. That's where I'm at here at 99.7 WNFL in Green Bay and the Fox Valley. And I know you can also listen online at 93.9 The Game in Wausau and at 710 The Game in Duluth Superior. So lots of online options, but we appreciate the heads up on Mother Nature screwing with our signal this morning. Yeah. All right, back to the Brewers real quick. We're a little late here. Don't care. We're in charge. Yelly spoke in the locker room yesterday. El Capitano was asked a lot of different questions, Josh.
Yeah, he was. And the biggest one that they kept coming to was about the expectations and what people are predicting that the Brewers are going to do.
Because I don't know. I don't know if we have like the household names or guys that, you know, we trade guys usually every offseason or say that we can't overcome this loss or that loss, or, you know, you lose a manager, or you lose a starting pitcher, closer. People think what we do every year is a fluke. I don't know. You'd have to ask them, but you know, I think a lot of people have been really waiting for the day that we suck. They can finally say, I told you so, and we're no good. But we'll hopefully be able to fend that off again another year and go from there.
People are waiting for the day we suck so that they can say, I told you so.
We talked about this yesterday. How do they keep doing this with all these young players? That's how. He just addressed it.
But is that also not, like, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that must just be the Milwaukee mentality. We're looking at the same thing with Giannis and the national media saying, yeah, they're just going to keep guessing until they're right. And then they say, see, I told you so. I mean, Yelich just said the exact same thing about the Brewers. It's just, to this point, Brewers keep proving them wrong.
Well, the good news is there's no Giannis news from yesterday. But before we go there, let's check in with the Badgers.
Okay.
Badgers.
There's one piece of news, and we want to be aware of it. The Wisconsin men's hockey team plays again on Thursday. They're in, I believe, the regionals. It's kind of a weird deal in hockey. The NCAA tournament has different layers, not that basketball doesn't, but it's not normal. There's different seating, and then they go to the Frozen Four. The men's team plays on Thursday, ESPNU, 4:00 in Worcester, Massachusetts against Dartmouth. This is relative because the Badgers have had a decent season. They were 12th overall in the rankings, and they haven't been back to the Frozen Four in some time, 2010. They're going for their first national championship in 20 years. So we'll see if they can put something together. But from a Badgers perspective, that's what we got this week now that, you know, the basketball thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Bucks.
Bucks.
The plot thickens.
Always.
So there was a bit of news that hit yesterday between Giannis and the Bucks and the NBA Players Association. Hey, Dario, Channel 12, will you read that to us, please?
The National Basketball Association's Players Association is possibly accusing the Bucks of tanking or trying to lose by wanting Giannis to rest for the remainder of the season, even though he is healthy enough to return. In a statement, the union said the players' participation policy was designed by the league to hold teams accountable, ensure that when all-stars like Giannis are ready to play, he is on the court.
It goes on to say a bunch of other stuff that I want to ask, frankly, your opinion on.
Yeah, yada, 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 yada.
Right.
A lot of legal mumbo jumbo. The thing that's frustrating to me is that the Bucks are being highlighted when, like, there was a legit report that came out. Like, now you can say that maybe that was a false report on Giannis's knee, but like he even said, like, he felt like it extended. Like, he said that after the game that happened. So if that's the case, then it would seem like Giannis is in on it too. For that to be like the headline story, though, when there are so many other teams that are legitimately tanking and not having their star player be constantly injured, it's like, but you're highlighting the Bucks. Why? Why are the Bucks the focus here? Especially since I feel like we're doing a really bad job at tanking. Like, we've shown more than anything that we might just suck. Like, we just suck. not tanking. We went out there. We tried to get a guy. We won a few games. We messed up trying to get that top pick. And yet you're going to come after us and say the Bucks are trying to tank?
But
what?
do you think the NBA Players Union, the PA, does this if Bobby Portis is ready to play but he's being benched?
No.
Of course not. It's a Giannis thing.
No. Right. But that's why it's like they're focusing on the player, not the tanking. That's the issue. Is that
they're able to connect the dots?
Sure, but it's also not like the Bucks don't have any leg to stand on here. You know, it's kind of like if you miss school but you have a doctor's note, but you were perfectly fine the day before. You're like, I don't know if he was actually sick. Okay, but he does have a doctor's note. Like, there is something there that the Bucks can go off of. And it doesn't matter. They're just going to highlight it because it's Giannis.
Just won't go away. All right, Josh, anything else?
There's plenty more.
Anything else?
What is there?
You know the Sweet 16 starts tomorrow?
Don't care.
It's like the worst timing for Sweet 16. Like, I know money. I know it comes down to money. But having the Sweet 16 start on the same day as baseball is not good.
Well,
it's not
that
good.
depends if your team's in it, though. There's been a number of times when there has been games that are relative to the state of Wisconsin while Brewers are playing, and they put them on the TVs in the concourse, and that is a blast. But the reason it sucks now is because the Badgers aren't in it. Marquette's not in it. GB, Milwaukee didn't even make it, and we kind of don't care. But yet we want to keep our finger on the pulse of it. But I'm along with Brad Davison. I want them all to lose. Have a great night.
Yeah, I just, as a fan of the tournament and wanting to continue watching those basketball games, see how the tournament finishes, I don't like that I have to now put it off because my focus is going to be on opening day.
I asked you if you were going to put it on after opening day, and you said,
I'm going to be surprised if I can find a remote.
It's certainly not the channel.
No.
Although, did you see that on the Nicolay Law Talking text line? Somebody in Jefferson County texted in and said, it's channel 319 on Spectrum.
319, eh?
On Spectrum. Now, we'll have to fact check that with all due respect to this person, but apparently Spectrum's got it together with the Brewers. I don't know what that means for the other cable or satellite peeps, but 319 in Jefferson County, I guess.
Sounds good.
Start of something special. When we come back, we have questions, and one of them today involves a concern that Josh has about John Cena and his heroes falling from grace. That's next. We are inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, and we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Good morning, Wisconsin.
If I had done this intentionally or unintentionally, I'd be the first one to step up and say, I did it. By no means am I perfect, but if I've ever made any mistakes in my life, I've taken responsibility for my actions. I truly believe in my heart, and I would bet my life that this substance never entered my body at any point.
A few moments later.
I wish that I hadn't done the press conference. It was a big mistake. I deeply regret having done it and a lot of the things that I said that day. But again, all I can do is move forward. And in an effort to do that, I'm not going to get into too many specifics. I really don't think that it does anything too positive or productive for me, for the team, for the game of baseball or anybody else. And in an effort to move forward, I'm not going to discuss that stuff anymore.
Ah, the memories. When our heroes fall from grace. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. And that's the question today. Where are we at with getting over those heroes that have either fallen from grace, or do we spend time thinking about who we hope doesn't because, well, they're kind of our heroes?
Yeah, you can definitely think of a few. And I had that thought that kind of ignited this after I met John Cena. And it was, man, that was such an awesome experience. And he's done so much for so many people. I
Please
pray
don't be a son of a bitch.
that something doesn't come out someday that he's the worst.
I have questions.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nicolay Law talk and text line 414-677-1250. Who has been a player that really bummed you out when they fell from grace, whether here in the state of Wisconsin or just in your fandom in general? And are there some that you're like, oh God, please don't be that?
Yeah, and it's important to note that, like, I'm sure there are people who have had not great experiences when they meet their heroes.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of talked about that a little bit yesterday, that those definitely exist. But this is more of a discussion on the fall from grace, to where even if you had whether you had a good experience meeting them or not meeting them, they did something. Some news came out that you went, oh no, now I can never look at that person the same way again.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that, at least from my perspective, eternal optimist, that you can fall from grace but never out of grace. There's always grace to be given. And let's just use Ryan Braun as an example. There was a lot of people that are like, dude, he's getting screwed. He's getting framed. Nope, not so much.
Yeah.
Or how many times did Brett Favre fall from grace? I mean, many. Over and over, unfortunately.
Right. And now, to be fair, both of those guys, Brett Favre and Ryan Braun, both have been seen. They were honored after, like we saw Brawny had multiple appearances in Milwaukee last year during that playoff run and playoff runs of the past. So the thing is that it's not, people are still reserved. There's still plenty of fans out there. We even have one this morning here on the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line that said, 920 said, haven't been a fan of Cheater Braun since then.
Yeah, there will be those. I mean, you forgive but never forget type of thing. But on the same token, are there people that, like John Cena, you really love and you go, oh, please don't ever. I mean, listen, people are people. Humans are humans. We all make mistakes. If you think that we're excluded, we're not. As a matter of fact, if we have a stupid off, my buddy Chris and I like to say, get in line because you're going to need to be behind me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's it's the tarnishing a perfect identity, right? That's the big one that is hard to hold on to. People mess up in general. You see it a lot more from celebrities. Someone in the 262 said it's Hulk Hogan for me, right? Like he was, take your vitamins, talking to the kids, He was so many people's heroes in the 70s and 80s, and that was like it, and cartoons being made and all these things. And then, boy, like the last appearance he made on a live WWE show, they're booing him off the stage, and then he dies.
Politically driven, unfortunately. But there's a difference, and this actually
there
came
was
up.
a little bit more than politically. A lot of people associate him as a racist, and there are other things going on with it as well.
He's got some stuff. Don't get me wrong, but where I was going with that was there's a difference between turning heel as a character in the NWO and showing up in the WCW and all those things, and the real life falls from grace with the reality TV shows and particular videotape. Some things, right?
Yes.
So, Josh, you mentioned John Cena. Is there someone else that's top of mind for you, or some people outside of Giannis, maybe, that you're like, oh, please don't fall from grace?
Well, so the big one for me was, and I was like, really like, please, no bad stories, but was Uke, right? Like, because Uke was his entire life, right? Like for over a year, people have been telling stories, remembering him. And I didn't hear one that came out that went, actually he kicked puppies or something. Like, none of that existed. And I was like, good. Like, I needed that to be preserved, so that was one I was very, very excited about. I think that now, like right now, I think Jordan Love is like the big one, because we've talked about it. Tommy says it all the time, that Jordan Love still has the most to try to live up to. And that he was always in the hardest spot, having to follow 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But if something came out, like, it would just crush all of it, because he hasn't been or isn't at that level where people would see past it, right? I mean, people loved Aaron Rodgers until it got into his haircut, and then the ayahuasca and everything else. But by that point, he was already our guy. He won us the Super Bowl. Jordan Love hasn't been there yet. And so if something came out now about Jordan Love, that would be terrible.
It would also be par for the course, though, unfortunately, with Green Bay Packers quarterbacks, because the last 2.5 have certainly had some fall from grace moments. But again, it's not pointing fingers. It's just we spend so much time and energy loving these people. And when these things happen, when you're in the public spotlight as a professional athlete, as these people are, the fall is a lot louder, per se.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. What about you? Do you have anyone that would just crush you?
Yeah. I really hold the Watt family to a different standard.
That is a great one. Yeah.
I don't, and I'm not suggesting it. That's why it's kind of a slippery slope, right? Because neither of us are suggesting that these things are going to happen. This might be a little CYA after McAfee got sued by Brett Favre, but there's some people that you just absolutely adore. And the Watts, I absolutely adore. I've had the pleasure of meeting the youngest, Derek, or is he the middle one? Can't remember. Phenomenal family, phenomenal people. They're in such a high regard. And again, there's no perfect human.
Right.
So,
and that's what we're saying too. Like, the 262 said, my father-in-law has a personal experience of Uke being a pain in the butt. Sorry, Josh. Again, I promise you, not everyone had a perfect experience with every single person.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about. That's not a fall from grace. You just got the short end of the stick. It's in the one time he might have been in a bad mood. It might have been but overall, the image that is given off to the general public of the person, of who Uke was, is top tier.
And again, I don't throw stones from glass houses. Nobody is perfect. I would not be here if it wasn't for grace. I'll put it that way. And
sure.
Please just continue to be our heroes.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, is that it becomes more and more difficult today than it was 20, 30 years ago. That's the more access to these people exposes them a lot more than it used to. And that's part of it, right? And then there is a flip side that I know a lot of people go to of saying, yeah, but is that really better? Is the ignorance is bliss mindset better when it comes to you or your children idolizing these people that behind the scenes are jerks and awful people and you just don't see it. And I kind of go, yeah, absolutely. The ignorance is bliss.
Well, thanks, social media. That's coming up in the morning mind dump on how the world of sports has massively changed since social media became a thing. Real quick, to the 920 on the Nicolay Law talk and text line, 414-677-1250. They say, but it sounds like you're preying on people's downfalls. No. You might have missed the beginning.
Yeah.
It's actually being grateful for those that haven't had a downfall, meaning John
AKA
Cena.
John Cena.
That's what started all this conversation.
Exactly. Because I'll tell you, when I met him, I was one of thousands that had a personal story to share of what he did for them. If something ever came out, crushing.
The most electrifying sound of the day is next. We go back to Brewers baseball and the red-hot Jake Bauers. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, and we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for
The most electrifying.
Sound of the Day
The most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Here's a high fly ball, deep right center field. It is way back there, and it is way gone for Jake Bowers. And the power surge all spring has continued here in Milwaukee for Jake Bowers. That is his 7th home run of the exhibition season. Man.
Man, indeed. Jake Bowers with a moonshot. Call courtesy of Lane Grindle and the Brewers Radio Network. And that is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Do you think of Tommy every time you see a Jake Bowers highlight?
I do.
Me too.
Every time it's ridiculous. Every time I hear his name, I think about Tommy.
Can you
really
imagine
should-
if Bowers has a season? Like an epic season,
well.
like to where Vaughn's on the bench because you have to put Bowers in the lineup?
Murph said it earlier in the show. After the spring training game yesterday, I'm surprised for 11 years in a row on what we don't know coming out of spring training, whether somebody does good or bad or indifferent. He said, somebody write a book if you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Listen to Jake Bauer's stat line from spring training and tell me that he shouldn't be at least counted on to continue this in the major league season. He batted .462 in spring training, 7 home runs, 9 RBIs, and he played in 15 exhibition games. 462.
Yeah. I mean, incredible.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And what's almost bigger for me is the power. You know, last year we saw a lot of scrappy, just get the ball in play, beat it out, steal a base, small ball. But we went now once in a while, could use a little bit of pop, get the ball out of the park. Bowers goes, "Hi, have you met me?" I'd love to see that continue into the regular season.
As we continue on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump is upon us, and it's a doozy today. How has social media impacted sports? The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's a continuation of a conversation we started yesterday about youth sports and how much youth sports has changed adult sports. And or is it a carryover? Is it a hangover? And what's fixable and what's not? Well, then right at the end of that conversation, somebody on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250, said, I blame social media. Okay, don't have time for that can of worms, but we do today. And so we'll go there. And we want your thoughts on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. How has social media impacted us in sports? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And maybe one more caveat. Are we ever going to recover from it? Or where does it go from here?
It's a great question.
Get your crystal balls. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Be back in a bit. Stay here.
It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by the Milwaukee Area Napa Auto Care Association. Partly cloudy conditions expected today with a high of 65 degrees. It's currently 35 current in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
Fly ball, center field. Lockridge is back. Lockridge makes the catch. 14 in a row for the Milwaukee Brewers. The hottest team in the land comes from behind, and they win it in 11.
I'm not saying that isn't going to happen. I'm just saying let's not forget that it did. And it was only last year.
Very true. Got to remember the good time.
We do. As we start the 2026 season tomorrow for the Milwaukee Brewers, we remember Jeff Levery reminding us how amazing that was when they won 14 in a row and set the franchise record less than a year ago. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
And the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Josh, I don't know if you noticed, but I busted out a old or new sweatshirt today. Do you see this?
I did see that.
Okay, it's not mine.
Oh.
Shout out Ben Giffen, buddy of mine, neighbor. Accidentally took this from him last season when we were watching a game in his garage, and I was being a little, I was cold.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, oh, let me go get you a sweatshirt. And I'm like, oh, perfect. That was a long time ago. Benji, sorry, buddy. I got your sweatshirt. It's right here. So.
Wow.
Yeah, what is that?
Wait, were you at a
this
friend?
Is old. It's a little tattered.
Did you say a friend's or a neighbor's?
Yes.
And you didn't want to just like go home and grab something? You didn't want to just like walk home to grab?
Well, it wasn't. I was cold.
Yeah. And so you didn't want to say, nah, you know what? I should have grabbed a sweat. You know what? I'll be right back. And go home.
All right,
and
time for the morning. Yeah, let's.
Okay.
But thanks, Ben. Appreciate you, buddy. I'll give it back tomorrow when we're back in the garage. All right.
See if you'll ever see that back then. I'm just saying, you're gonna take a sweatshirt from a buddy
like 6 houses away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. We're a safe place. Time to get some things off your chest and out of your head if you need to on this hump day in the week.
And if you're cold, just borrow your neighbor's sweater.
Listen, he just texted me. He listens and watches every day and says, looks good on you. Keep it.
Yeah, he doesn't want it back. He knows what
Why?
you do to clothing. He saw the zip up. He's like, don't no.
What do you mean? What was that? What was that?
He doesn't want it back anymore. He probably didn't want to give it to you in the first
You
place.
said something about a zip up there. Hold on. What?
Yeah, well, because you said that you sweat through your clothing.
Oh. Well, sometimes. Don't we all?
Okay. Well, so that's what I'm saying. You borrowed your buddy. It doesn't matter.
You don't think he sweat through the? Wait till you someday meet Mr. Ben Giffen.
Okay. Well, all right.
The man is established. Absolute.
Now
you know what house.
Now you're calling him out after
being strong,
holding on to his sweatshirt.
You know what? This sounds like a social media argument. Well, let's just text each other this instead of bringing everybody else into it.
Why? It's the morning mind dump.
The morning mind dump today. Listen, Mr. Positivity over here is going to struggle with this one, but we got to call a spade a spade. Things have changed in the sports industry massively in our lifetime, thanks to social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so how much do we depend on social media for sports? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it ugly? Yeah, sometimes. But how much has that affected? And what's your opinion on this? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Josh, this comes from a conversation that we started yesterday about youth sports and how that somehow has trickled into older youth sports and now high school sports, collegiate sports, and somehow even professional sports. And then somebody right at the end of the conversation yesterday said, well, all of it's due to social media. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about social media, right? Is that it's very easy to just jump on the bandwagon right away of social media is awful. Everything's awful about it. It's terrible. There are definitely parts of it. And I would almost say the majority of it that brings negativity. However, you might be chiming in right now after watching us on YouTube or on Twitter, streaming live at WI Sports Radio. That would be a thing that didn't exist before, that you're getting your sports talk news in. So there are aspects of that. There are highlights that are shown that you can go find, interviews. It's a whole nother way for you to enjoy the sports you care about. It used to be that you didn't know until you turned on the radio in the morning or you opened the newspaper or, like that was the thing. Social media has allowed us to get more information and different information and the information we need quicker. So those are the things we take for granted that absolutely have made it better. The thing that's ruined it is the opinions. It's giving that access to everyone. That's the biggest downfall, and not just in regards to sports, but in regards to social media, is that now everyone, the keyboard warriors, it created the keyboard warriors of, well, now I can let my opinion be known to everyone when really it shouldn't.
Well, and the opinions are abound about literally everything. Literally somebody about this sweatshirt via the keyboard warriors and their thumbs just said, dude, your sweating ass has no leg to stand on here. Well, thanks, JB. In the night, thanks. And listen, we know JB. We've met him. He loves busting our you-know-whats. But so many times, there's no context with all this stuff. And somebody else texted in here from where'd it go? Right there. 262. Thinking about social media's effects on sports is depressing. If you take that avenue, it is. It's not always. Listen, if not for social media, I would not have Bob Uecker's last words on the radio and final home run call in my bookmarks, saved on Twitter, and then recorded off of Twitter onto my phone.
Right.
I will have that forever. I would have never had the chance to get that if not for social media. There's a lot of good that's come from it, specifically in sports. I would say, Josh, that it's made our job easier in some ways and significantly harder in other ways.
Yeah, absolutely it has. It's given a lot of people more opportunities, though, to find different ways to consume sports. Like that's the thing that does make it beautiful, is that there is that convenience of it not just being, well, I mean, I'm not going to know what happened in sports until I turn on the news after dinner. And I see what the sports report says. Well, here's what happened today. The Brewers won 5-3 over. You knew that already. You got to see the highlights. You got to consume that. You got to see what they said afterwards. The convenience aspect is huge. Now, that being said, it goes back to like that's on a completely different level, and it's a blanket. Unfortunately, social media isn't just structured to be those type of things. It exists in all avenues. And so it also affects the kids that are playing youth sports, that are more worried about, the parent getting the best slow-mo video of them hitting a home run to put on their Instagram in comparison to hitting the home run itself and then celebrating with your team. Those are the aspects that have changed. But to me, that's more than sports. That's just culture. That's just a culture change.
Lifestyle, essentially. I mean, we want to promote ourselves and our kids and our accomplishments and none of the negative.
Right. Speaking of at On Air Josh, go ahead, follow, like, subscribe. Trevor Thomas IW, go ahead, hit us up, please.
So how do you use social media out there? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. How do you use social media in regard to sports? Do you literally depend on social media for sports? It's why Josh and I don't sit and read sports scores on the radio. That doesn't make any friggin' sense.
Nope.
If you wanted to know a sports score, by this time, you'd already have it.
Yeah.
You don't need to know the Brewers score against the Reds from yesterday. If you do, I suggest social media.
Yeah.
But how do you use it?
It literally gets updated in real time.
It's crazy.
On your phone.
So, Josh, how do you, doing what we do, how do you use social media in sports? And maybe just take off the radio headphones for a hot second.
Sure.
As a sports fan, how do you use social media?
Yeah, so a lot of it for me is to get that behind the scenes or different viewpoint, right? It's to try to find like-minded people who either enjoy a player or a team the way that I do, that promote or communicate that love, that fandom the same way that I do, and then I'll follow that person. I want to interact with that person. It's almost like making friends, essentially, that are going to enjoy the sport the same way that I do. I have the ability to do that. To be honest with you, the number one way that I use it, though, is for our business. It's the social media for me is it's a gift and a curse. The curse is you have to keep putting yourself out there. You have to utilize it. We just can't let it go away. It's part of our jobs.
Is it required?
It is. And if
not for everyone.
Well, but if it's not, it should be. Like if you're in the media business, it should be.
Why?
Because
Why?
that's because you're in the business of getting people information about a topic, and there's no.
But are you required to use, like, if you're in the business, then you have another avenue to get people the information that they're looking for, whether it's you and I in radio form, our podcasts, television. There are other ways to consume it. So in the media, are you required, or is it just highly suggested? Because John Anderson and I did Inside Wisconsin's podcast for 4 years together, almost 5 years together, and he never once has social media, ever.
Yeah, I would say if I was running said media company and you weren't utilizing social media, I would not say that you're working there much longer. It's
interesting.
It's the part of how people consume things.
Do you
Literally,
think that's part
I've
of the
known
problem?
people that sign up for Twitter just to interact with us.
But is that part of the problem, though? I mean, where does that stop? Why do I'm just using myself as an example here. Why do I have to talk on social media at all hours of the day when you and I talk for 3 hours? I'm playing devil's advocate here for a reason. It's kind of my point, right? Like, too much information sometimes is too much. And
Sure.
It just gives more and more opportunity for opinion. The way I use social media is stupid. My favorite part is when we're watching a sporting event and something happens injury-wise. And they say on the TV broadcast, well, we're not going to replay that for you. Twitter will.
Yeah. Let me go analyze it 6 different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Twitter docs come out and go, oh, he tore his ACL, and here's why, and here's what to look for. I love that side of the sports. I love the behind the cheddar curtain side, as you mentioned. I just think that requiring it or expecting it is different than seeing what comes up when it comes up. I can go completely silent on social media for a few days, sometimes weeks, just because it's just not top of mind. I'm busy with life or other things. And then something pops up, and like Cam Thomas the other night somehow gets released, which we didn't see coming. And we're like, huh? What?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying that for our profession, I feel like it needs to be. If you're just a person who enjoys sports, yeah, then absolutely you don't need to be posting on it. You don't need to, but people just use it as an avenue to consume media. No different than a television or, reading a newspaper or listening on the radio or any other form of a medium to get their information. I think the bigger issue with how social media affects sports is that it's all goes back to youth. It all goes back to the kids. I am 36. I don't do social media the way that I don't even understand social media the way that kids do. And when I say kids, I mean 12 to 22. Like there's a whole range that are using social media a completely different way than I am. And that affects sports. And then they see NBA players talking smack to each other on Twitter and NFL players, calling each other out. And then they go, oh, well, I saw this person that I want to idolize, that I want to be when I grow up, being disrespectful to this other player. That's cool. And then they start doing and then they idolize that. That's the big difference, is that if you're at a vulnerable age and you're using social and you see other people using social media that way, you're going to follow suit. And that's bad news.
I read somewhere recently that said the next generation of social media users, specifically when it comes to video and or sports, is actually going to use it less. And it's the problem with AI. Many of us cannot tell what's real and what's not.
Yep.
And so there's a generation coming behind us that went, why would you guys interact with a bunch of crap that you can't tell if it's realistic or not? So they're just not going to use it. And that's how life works, Josh. That's pendulum swings, man, on everything in every aspect of life, every time. It'll be interesting to see how it evolves. And listen, 10 years from now, when the radio is what it is today, let's be real, and
thriving.
You can hear us.
Yep.
I'm just saying in terms of the avenue of the FM radio, we saw it earlier on how many people don't listen to the radio on the radio. There's many people right now listening to us streaming online. That doesn't mean it's not a radio show, because it is. But at the end of the day, things change. Whatever social media platform is hot right now may very well be dead in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's how crazy this idea of social media world is. And everybody posts everything all the time. Little Johnny, little Josie, whatever the case may be. And then they go, well, I need to be seen. And how do we get a hold of agents to see what I'm doing? And to your point, it just goes back to youth sports and the idea that everybody should be a superstar. It's very fascinating.
On the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, we want to get your opinion on this, 414-677-1250. The 920 chimes in and says, sports and social media have provided me an opportunity to connect with my teenage kids in a way that I probably couldn't have otherwise. My teenage daughter is sharing WNBA and other women's athletics pieces that I probably wouldn't have paid as much attention to without her interactions or social media. That's a great point. Like I said before, it's getting you access to things that would have been way more difficult. You would have had to go out of your way to get otherwise. It's allowing people who aren't familiar with a player, a team, a sport, to now get in there. It's an avenue to grow brands and leagues and sports and franchises if it's used correctly. It's just with every positive, there's a negative that's going to come along with it of it not being as good. But that's a great example. I love that, 920.
Do you wish you didn't have social media? Do you ever find yourself in the position of going, God, if I could delete all my social media and just not, use it ever? You ever felt that way?
No.
I have, for no reason other than I just would love to turn off the noise. And I know we have to and need to, and it helps us be who we are on the radio and doing sports talk, but there's some times where I just like, man, what would life be like if I just got rid of all of my social media? I'd have a lot more time on my hands, I can tell you that.
Sure.
And I wouldn't watch nearly as many people getting knocked out on the street as I do. What's that? Why do I do what? Like rabbit holes.
Man, I'm worried about your algorithm, man.
Do you know Nate the Hoof Guy?
Only because of you.
Well, you need to. See what I'm saying? Like the things that we find interesting in someone else's job, like I've even thought about that. Let's show them the behind the scenes curtain in the radio business and what you and I do, and pop up a camera and show you the pile of Kleenexes that I have next to my microphone here, right? It's interesting and fascinating, and unfortunately, from a sports perspective, significantly with youth, and it all goes back to the adults, unfortunately, it's different.
A few more texts coming in here. Josie, our friend Josie says, social media gave me some great friends like Josh. I love you, Josie. 414 said, if you get your algorithm right, there is a lot of positivity out there. That's true.
Sure.
That's true. It's very difficult to do that. But if you can, yeah, you can use social media the right way. Then you have the 715 that said, I'm living my best life since deleting all socials. It's been 4 years now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make commitments. I'm kind of like Pat McAfee right now. Like, I don't want to donate $100,000 if you hit 104 miles an hour, but it does fascinate me. Maybe I could do it for 30 days and try it. I don't know. It makes our job a lot harder today.
Yeah.
Not having social media.
Yeah, I was going to say, that would be very dumb for you to do, in my opinion, just based on what you do every day for work. But I don't know.
But I don't know. Does it? I mean, like this morning I came in, I saw in the newspaper, that's a thing that you hold and read, about an article about the UW Green Bay Phoenix from Scott Vency, the Green Bay Press Gazette. I wouldn't have seen that had it not been on social media. And it was posted there, and then you open up the subscription and read it online, all those things. So you want to talk about the internet tomorrow? Let's just talk about the internet in general.
Yeah, we could spend
probably not
forever. A few more here that I want to get out. So the 262 said it's going to sound dumb, so it's a good way to start. But social media for me has become a spot to learn something about my business, as I own a remodeling company, and my TikTok is a never-ending feed of new ways to do things, and I'm constantly learning. Other than that, it's a lot of crap. That Bennett in Brookfield. Okay, but that's even, so that's what I'm saying. You're finding like-minded people that do things that tie in to what you do. Someone else in the 262 said, social media got me some awesome Roosevelt shirts. Yeah, preach, brother. That's how I got there. Now I'm in the cult. The 920 says, hey, it's nice to know another Nate the Hoof Guy watcher.
See?
This is what I'm talking about. Wait for people to validate feelings, find like-minded people. These are the positive things that come out of social media. It's
Let's
just
ask Luke Sampe what he thinks about social media.
well, but that's the thing. And then you're going to have the Luke Sampes that essentially you're going to get either a weather report or a fight.
It's a Would You Rather Wednesday, and that's next. I have questions, Josh.
Oh, boy.
In the Would You Rather category about tailgating tomorrow.
Oh, we're going to have some similarities.
Do we? Good. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I'll be right back. Got a tweet.
Yeah, go send a tweet or two.
Stupid. It's the home opener tailgate party tomorrow at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel inside the Annex next to the Sportsbook. The best tailgate party of the year. Party with the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network starting at 9 a.m. with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff, followed by the leadoff show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wartz from 11 to 1. Pato is the place to be with free parking, free Surfside drinks while supplies last, food for purchase, games, and fun. Plus, shuttles to the game starting at 11, running every 15 minutes. Join the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network for the home opener tailgate party tomorrow from 9 to 1 at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on a Would You Rather Wednesday. Unknowingly, Josh and I apparently have a thing or two in common with our questions today about tailgating tomorrow for the Brewers home opener. You go first, bud.
All right, let me get the one non-tailgate one out of the way, which is this. Would you rather shuttle to the game from a nearby bar or park at the game? Do your own setup.
It's hilarious that you asked that because I almost wrote that same question down and went, well, no, if I'm going to have a tailgate theme to my Would You Rather Wednesday, it's got to be based on tailgating. So clearly, and I've never taken a shuttle from a bar to a Brewer game, ever.
I have multiple times. Our friends at Natty Oaks got some great shuttles. I know that Potawatomi is going to have some shuttles that you can use on opening day as well to get there. The shuttles make it very convenient. You don't got to worry about packing up the car.
I mean, in the Would You Rather scenario, I would much, much, much rather, with all due respect to the shuttles, be in the parking lot tailgating.
I like the shuttles because, one, I usually, I'm not paying for the shuttles. Usually I'm just getting a drink in their establishment. And two, especially if I know someone who is setting up a tailgate, it's kind of like going to getting a free ride to the lake to use someone else's boat. I don't got to worry about cleaning out the boat, getting the boat back on the trailer. I just get to go have fun.
Someday I'll tell you about my July 4th tubing expedition in Minocqua.
Ooh.
Didn't go well. Well, then I think I know the answer to this question.
Okay.
Would you rather preferred parking or general parking?
Preferred.
What? Wait, what? Why? You just got done telling me you're a cheapo with not paying for shuttles, and now you're going to pay for preferred?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna pay for parking, I might as well pay for parking.
It's valid.
I'm Mr. Extreme. I'm either going to pay for the most expensive parking that's going to put me in the best area, or I'm not going to pay at all, and I'm just going to shuttle in.
Mr. Extreme.
That's been a nickname in the Albrecht household forever.
That you're Mr. Extreme?
I'm Mr. Extreme. Julie's Mrs. Extreme. Oh, it's got to be one or the other, huh? There's no middle ground. Yeah, that's true. All right, tailgate edition. Would you rather sit at one tailgate or hop around if you know that there are a few people hosting tailgates?
I will only hop around on my way in. I'm not leaving my tailgate to go to someone else's tailgate while I could be tailgating. If I'm going in, I'll stop by if I can, but I'm not leaving my own to go and check out yours. If you want to see me, come check out mine.
Okay, but what about if you're not hosting? You don't have to clean up. You're just like, and then we're going to, I'm taking the shuttle down or I'm parking and then I'm meeting Josh at his tailgate. And then you get a text from Ben and Ben says, hey, come to my tailgate.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't think I've ever gone to a Brewers game and not been the tailgater. I've never
with the
parked.
Most.
And yeah, I guess it's my wife's fault. She's the best host ever.
Well, I'm a big hop arounder.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I want to say hi to as many people. I want to do that. I'm going to be doing that on opening day, by the way. If you're hosting a tailgate and it's a kick-ass tailgate and you want me to report live as I do some hit-ins from the parking lot for the pregame show with Tommy, let me know. Hit us up. Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text line 414-677-1250. Try to stop by.
If I somehow show up in Milwaukee tomorrow, I will do none of it. I will park and I will walk in. We will watch the game and I will walk out.
Sounds like the worst opening day ever.
Or greatest.
All right, you're up.
Can koozie or no?
Absolutely can koozie.
Why?
What? Why not?
Drink your beer faster. What do you got to keep it cold for longer?
Why can't I drink it fast while having a koozie on it?
That's what I said. Like, why do you need one, I guess, is the question. Would you rather Is it the squishiness in your hand?
It's the fact that it doesn't hurt it to have it. And so why not? Maybe I put it down because someone wants to challenge me in bags and I lose it for a second and then I pick it up.
Oh, I turn my tab. So that's how I tell what beer is mine. I turn my tab.
No, I like the can koozie. All right, food edition. Would you rather eat some type of sausage or anything else?
I'm a brat guy, man.
Yep. Isn't that crazy? I literally steaks, chicken, taco dip, sandwiches, burgers.
Very simple.
Any of that or a sausage. Tailgate? Yeah, give me a sausage.
Here's a follow-up to your would you rather. Barely cooked or burn oof, that was close. Burn it or burn it. I kind of feel like swearing today for some reason. I don't know why.
Don't do that.
I'm trying not to. I haven't.
Well, talk about Mr. Extreme. I would like it perfectly done, please. I would definitely go burn it between the two.
Crispy, man. Let me taste here's my follow-up to the follow-up. Propane
up
or light the charcoal.
Yep, that one was on my list. So I love the smell of charcoal. I love the people that commit to charcoal. I'm going to do propane. It's a lot of work. The cleanup, you got to leave it out. You got to go dump out the coals. You got to leave that grill out. You can't put that in your car unless you want to come back to a car being on fire, which there's at least one every season. You can't do that. Propane, much easier. I'd go propane. What about you?
I got to have charcoal.
Well, of course.
That's another reason why tailgating is a commitment, man.
It's just like the boat, man. It's just like the boat. It's your boat. I just get to ride on it.
They say a boat owner's greatest day is the day they buy it. And the second greatest day is the day they sell it.
Yep.
In between, it just sucks gas.
Unless it's your friend. Then it's your friend's gas.
Then keep it, please.
Would you rather play catch with a baseball or a football at a tailgate?
Well, I'm going to have a follow-up to this one. I think this is going to be unpopular. I think it's a football.
No, that is the correct answer.
Is it?
Yes.
Why?
I'm sorry, but we are adults and not enough of us play baseball. And there's not a designated area to play baseball a lot of the time to play catch. I've seen a dad and his kid, and the kid being older, high school, and they'll play a game of catch. And I'm terrified the entire time. Not because I don't trust them. Like after a while, I go, okay, these guys know what they're doing. They can make sure the ball gets in the glove. But there are people walking by. There are things that are completely out of your control, and you knock someone out, boom, they're done. A lot easier to play football and not have to worry about injuries. I don't want to have to worry when I'm tailgating. Throw the pigskin.
Well, there's a lot to be said about playing catch with your kid in the parking lot. I feel like every parent does that at some point. If you have children and you've played baseball, you're going to grab your gloves and play catch in the parking lot. It's almost required. It's like teaching your kid how to tie a tie or shave. You know what I'm saying?
Also, if the kid misses the baseball, now you're standing for 15 minutes.
Well, also true. And you want to light the pilot light of anger for a dad.
Yeah.
Keep dropping that ball.
Yeah. And now there are cars, and now you're going, well, you watch out.
So here's my follow-up.
Bring the football.
Are you playing catch, or should you keep your ball at home for all the reasons we just talked about? Because we've all seen baseballs go sailing into tailgates and hitting grills and people and all the things. So how do we feel about catch in the parking lot in general? Yay or nay?
I say nay.
Yeah, you're a nay. Wow, that's going to be a.
I'm a nayer. This is why there are tailgate games, which is my next one. Would you rather play ladder golf or bags?
Ladder golf.
Oh, you don't even know what that is.
Testicle toss?
Okay, well, I specifically said ladder golf for a reason, as we are on the radio.
You can say that.
Well, you can,
did you
and you
dump
did.
It?
I didn't. Okay. Guess we'll find out.
Bags is the answer.
Bags is the answer. Yeah, that was the one. The only problem with bags is that I don't like playing on like cheap boards that when the bag hits the board, the boards bounce and flip.
Okay, Mr. Extreme.
But then at the same time, then the good quality bag boards, they take up so much room in the truck and they're heavy, and that's kind of annoying. So it's kind of a lose-lose there, but you commit to the better equipment to have a better experience. So make sure bag boards are good bag boards.
Last one for me, and then we want yours as well. I know Josh has a few more too. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Brian in Hudson, 715, says, the most Wisconsin poll ever. Eat sausage or literally anything else on the planet.
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent, boys. Excellent.
And it was sausage.
And the answer is sausage, right. All right, one more for me. Pop-up tent, or are you accepting the elements?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm a big fan of the pop-up tent. Give me that shade.
Okay. A fellow tailgater some years ago changed my entire opinion on the pop-up tent.
Okay.
I hate that those things go airborne. I don't think they're like on a windy day. I'm worried about whether they're going to stay where they're put. Is he going to tear? Is he going to hit somebody if it gets airmailed? Well, grab the buckets of sand. Well, that's a pain in the ass. Like, I don't want to do that. So I've always been a non-tent guy until I watched a guy bring a drill with concrete biting screws, and he screwed his tent to the parking lot of AmFam Field.
Is that allowed?
I have no idea, but it was genius.
I'm going to say that's not allowed. We're definitely not promoting that on the radio.
No, but it was genius.
Yeah, genius. But also, don't do that. Don't everyone drill holes and do not do that.
I'm doing that.
No, you will get a ticket.
I think it's going to be okay. You're going to get a ticket.
I don't think that is okay.
What's the ticket going to be for?
I don't know. Destruction of property.
A 1-inch or 2-inch screw into the.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't do it.
There's
Trevor?
Somebody else out there listening right now that screws their tent to the concrete at AmFam Field or Lambeau Field. Somebody else does this. That guy can't be the only one. 414-677-1250. We will not share your number. I don't even, who knows? You want to call, you know what? During the break, call the Milwaukee Police Department and ask them if this is legal or not. You're not going to do it.
I'm not going to do that.
When we go, you got more? You want to take a break or you want to go
we'll
one
take
more?
a break. We got more. We got some coming in here.
And I want to see what else other people have as well. There's a bunch. 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law talking text line. A little Would You Rather Wednesday on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Drill, baby, drill.
Don't do that. Hey, bring your cravings. Wendy's will bring the rewards. Download the Wendy's app today and start earning rewards. Wendy's rewards are fast, free, and full of flavor. Get 200 bonus reward points and a free 10-piece nugs just for signing up. Earn points on every order and trade them for fries, burgers, and more. Earn free eats faster than you can say, fresh, never frozen. Loyalty has never tasted so good.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. A little Would You Rather Wednesday. There are some people that are choosing to share that screwing your tent down in the parking lot of AmFam Field is frowned upon. And I am paraphrasing. There are also people listening to this very station right now across the state of Wisconsin who do this, who aren't saying a word.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So
just saying.
Maybe we just don't promote that.
I'm not promoting it. I'm just telling you it happened, and I thought it was genius. I understand the ramifications.
And then you said you're going to do it.
I have definitely done it since then.
Well, you know that. Okay, so saying it there, like that's a mission of guilt. You're on the radio.
What are they going to do? They come cuff me and stuff me for drilling screws into the what? Sir?
Wow. Can you imagine?
Are you literally worried about this? Like your face is telling me.
Can you
like,
imagine if when you show up to your next Brewer game and they don't let you in because you admitted to destruction of their property?
Got to admit, the concrete screws are genius from the 262. Thank you. Finally, bail me out here, would you? All right, where are we at here? I got this on the side on the Would You Rather text message from my buddy Ryan. You don't have a choice. Are you drinking warm beer or almost frozen slushy beer?
Ooh.
And I'm going to take the word warm and go, not hot. This can of beer isn't like hot to the touch. It's just not cold.
Yeah, it's was it cold at any point? Like did you have it in the fridge and then you put it in the cooler and then it sat outside of the tailgate for 3 hours?
I do not have those details in front of me. It's the simple 2-word would you rather.
I'm gonna go with the warm one. I'm going to go with the warm. Because the slushy beer, I'm not getting through. I can pound that warm beer. I'm not going to love it, but I can pound it. What am I supposed to do with I'm not trying to eat the beer, which is what I'm doing if it's in slushy form. I got to crack open the can, grab a spoon. No, thank you. What about you? What'd you do?
Slushy beer.
Okay.
Because it melts, man. Like, therefore, that's when you hold it in your hand with both hands and warm the thing up. So it's only a matter of time before it's beer again.
But then you're not drinking it as a slushy beer. You're saying, I'll just wait until it's what I want.
No. I'm absolutely drinking it.
You have 5 minutes. You have to consume this beer. Are you going to eat it in slushy form, or are you going to drink it as a warm beer?
I'm going to eat it as slushy form because I'm going to cut the top of the can off, and here we go.
Yep, and then...
That's
what you're going to do.
No more sound effects. Oh, God.
You're welcome.
What condiments or special side do you prefer to tailgate? How about this one? Mustard or ketchup? I feel like we've done this, but it's a very clear answer for me.
I want both. I guess mustard. Sausage?
That's the wrong answer.
I immediately think my clothes.
Okay, what could go wrong?
Everything. The ketchup stains.
My buddy Brett, Quit Trip, we're doing a road trip. He walks up to the hot bar and goes over to the ketchup, all white polo shirt.
Yep.
I looked at him and I went, what could go wrong?
Don't do it.
This is a good one from the 262. Beer or bourbon at your tailgate?
Beer. The answer is beer. Beer and a brat.
Miller Lite for me. And the reason is because I want to remember the game. I do not need hard alcohol on the rocks in the parking lot of any athletic anything ever.
I mean, I'm not saying no to one, maybe necessarily, but I have a beer in my hand. I don't know. You didn't say no to any of the shots that were being poured.
I did too say no that day.
Oh, did you? I don't remember.
Oh yeah. I rest my case, Your Honor. There will be no further questions.
All I remember is having a great time.
Okay. I did not take shots because I know better. I know me.
Okay. Well, it's good that you know you. Man, someone just sent in. A lot of people saying don't drill into the asphalt.
No, they're saying. Read one that says don't drill into the asphalt.
Well, I mean, hold on. I'm trying to get through all these because I saw more. Hold on.
Somebody says I sound like a raging alcoholic. For what? How? Because I don't have a koozie on my beer?
Is that a thing?
I said drink it faster so it doesn't get warm. You sound like a raging alcoholic. Somebody else earlier today was like, Trevor doesn't drink on. What the hell? 42 years old. I'm fine.
Okay, I found it. Whew, took a while. All right, the 843 said, would you rather the Brewers be bad to start the year and get record-breaking hot like last season?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or be just consistently good all year?
The high highs certainly make the low lows worse. I am down with little ripples. And I still want to win the division, though. So how do you have that and still be first?
What is consistently good all year?
Well, I think what they're referencing is do you want them coming out guns a-blazing or go on these runs like they did last year, 8 in a row, 11 in a row, 14 in a row, and look how bad it hurt when they were basically average the rest of the season. The last 52 games, they went 500 for the most part.
Yeah, those are the ones you remember. That's what we remember. Give me that.
The 920 says, would you wear a current player's jersey or a former player's jersey? That's a good one because I've mentioned that I have Reese Hoskins' jersey in my – I saw it this morning. I was like, ooh, I'll wear my jersey. Nope, he's gone. I don't think that's allowed. I think you have to wear a current one.
Ooh, that is a good question.
But that's stupid because Yount and Molitor and Gantner and all that's allowed. But
right, there's a difference, though.
There is.
So the 414 asked, would you rather hang out with Pat McAfee's group or the Mr. Beast group? I would much rather be a part of the Mr. Beast group, by the way.
Oh, I'm McAfee all day long. Those guys are my idols.
Yeah.
Absolutely love them.
I don't know. Do you watch Mr. Beast videos? I don't on purpose, but
pretty much never.
Yeah.
Doug Gottlieb is scheduled to join us next, but we've heard from him never. We'll see how it goes. We'll be back.
It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. Partly cloudy conditions expected today with a high of 65 degrees. It's currently 35 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Fly ball, center field. Lockridge is back. Lockridge makes the catch. 14 in a row for the Milwaukee Brewers. The hottest team in the land comes from behind, and they win it in 11.
Let's remember the good times as another season starts. Jeff Levering, FanDuel Sports. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Trevor, are you okay if I screw my tent down in your driveway?
Yeah, of course. Go right ahead.
Cripes.
Yeah.
I would like to point out I've never done it. I just thought it was genius.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And then you said on the radio that you're going to do it.
I have not done it, but whatever. I don't know. Stuff. I think it's genius. Speaking of geniuses, joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Doug Gottlieb back at GP, buddy. Good to see you. All right, put this to bed. I don't know. There's a lot of parking lots at a lot of different professional stadiums across the country.
Oh, God.
I happened to be at AmFam Field last year, and we're talking about, would you rather put up a pop-up tent when you're tailgating or just allow the elements to be what they are? I said, I always worry if you don't have weights holding down the tent and all those things, so I don't bother with it. Well, last year, I was in the parking lot, and some guy pulled up right next to us, popped up a tent, and then took 4 concrete screws and screwed the thing to the concrete. And I was like, that is genius. Now, there's a lot of people that are like, well, you want me to come and put a tent in your driveway and screw screws into, like, no, but that's genius. So am I wrong here, I guess? I don't know.
Well, so that he left holes in the concrete when he left, is that the thing?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Small quarter-inch, half-inch holes.
Just enough for the rain, and then just enough for the rain to creep in there, and then when it freezes and expand and ruin the entire parking lot.
Okay. Yep, that's it. That's the one. All right.
I just listen. I would be the guy. Just so we're full of disclosure, I would be the guy that would champion like, this is genius, this is amazing, and there's the whole like but when you know you're going to leave holes, and you do know of the elements here in the great state of Wisconsin, I would think you shouldn't do that. It's
not wrong.
It's fairly selfish, which tracks.
God, I listened last week, you punks. Good to see you too.
What are you talking about?
My spring break is great.
That's the thing. You know, like, I'm not my mother. Like, oh my God, you're gonna leave some holes in the parking lot. Like, no, Mom, I'm not gonna leave holes in the parking lot. We're giving a theoretical. So yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't even know what your mom sounds like, and that was a perfect impression.
Well, she's from Connecticut, worked in New York. She doesn't sound totally like a New York Jewish lady, but there are times in which she does. And I'm accused of, I get accused of using my impression of her on other people. And they're like, I cannot sound like your mother. So now I'm making my mom sound like an old Jewish mother. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, brilliant.
All right, buddy. How was SoCal, man? Thanks for being back in Wisconsin. Are you going to the game tomorrow? Let's get caught up.
What game tomorrow?
Oh, my God.
The Brewers game tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, I'm working. No, I'm working. I'd love to. I'll watch the game, but I'm working. We're here to work. We gotta make sure our roster. We gotta fill in our roster. We got things to do, man. No, I love opening day. It's great. Feels early. Isn't it usually in April?
Usually for Milwaukee, because rarely do we open up at home. This is the first time it's.
I don't know if you've ever. I know we've never talked about this. I do think there's a really easy fix for Major League Baseball for avoiding some of these rainouts and snowouts and whatever, right? Like if you have a dome, you get to play early in March and April. If you don't, you have to play somewhere that doesn't have that issue, or that on the West Coast. I just why I've never understood some of the scheduling. I get that it's hard when you're in Chicago, or you're in Boston, or you're in New York. And, you're like, well, we don't get to start our home slate until April. No, build a place with a dome, or you don't get the games early. It's that simple. So, but I do think I always thought the season started when I was at the Final Four. I think this is a week early. I really do.
No, it is a little bit early. It usually is the weekend before the Final Four. It's lined up a lot that way, Doug, to where they
the weekend
have
before the Final Four, or the weekend of the Final Four.
The weekend of the Final Four. Yeah.
Yes. It's usually the first weekend in April. That's opening day Sunday. I can't tell you how many times I remember. ESPN would trot out Red Sox Yankees to start the season. The first of 30 epic battles between the Red Sox and Yankees. And I thought it was always on Final Four Sunday. So this does feel a little early. But I'm excited to see Miz pitch. See how consistent he can be this year. Who's not excited about the Brewers?
Damn right.
And to answer your question, how was SoCal? It's amazing.
It looked amazing.
Oh my God, it was 85 degrees every day. And I just had phone calls to make. So I didn't have to, I could drive at non-traffic times. And it was great. A couple days in San Diego, America's finest city. A couple days in LA, a little bit in Hollywood, hanging out with my mom as well, where I worked on my accent. So I sounded like a.
Got it. Got it. That's where that came from.
Then we're back.
Hey, Doug, when you joined me and Tim Allen, obviously we talked about Trevor not being on the show, but we talked about what was going to be in store for the Badgers, what the Badgers had to do. We talked about how people were already talking about how the Badgers were going to have a big matchup against Arizona in the Sweet 16, which would have been happening tomorrow or Friday. And you said, well, yeah, but pump the brakes. They got to get past High Point. They didn't. Everything you said about High Point ended up being true. Your thoughts on that game and seeing the Badgers go down in a 5-12 upset?
I feel it's interesting. Wisconsin's team this year was so offensive minded, offensive dominant, and I felt like, man, you probably have better personnel than they do. Your bigs can shoot, their bigs can shoot. You got Nick Boyd, they don't. But I thought High Point was too athletic for him. First thing is, though there are a lot of financial mismatches, and Wisconsin did spend substantially more money than High Point. High Point is not us. We would love to be High Point in terms of how much money they have versus their league. I think their salaries are in the twos, and I would guess no one else in their league is above 6 or 7. So it's not a surprise they dominated their league. It's not a surprise they put out a good product. I know Flynn really well. Alan Huff, who left right before the year, he's now going to be the head coach of Creighton, right? He built that thing to being a monster. But part of the reason it's a monster is they got money. That's their whole thing is building their university's reputation and profile through their basketball program. And they've done a good job of it. Because now, High Point looks like a country club. It does. I've been there. It looks like a country club. Now, the rest of the town is not, and it's a very progressive university that teaches a lot of life skills, which is great. It's not your typical university. Fine. But that's the whole mantra, the idea of what they're doing is no one ever heard of High Point before a couple years ago. And they're like, okay, well, here's how we'll do it. let's just pour a bunch of money in our basketball program. And every time they're on, it becomes an ad for the school, which it has. So to those of us in basketball, we knew the talent gap wasn't going to be as great as most, what are they in the Big South? As most Big South to Big Ten teams. But I do think that they got caught up in kind of the Nick Boyd show. Like he was just getting to the rim at will, and they stopped running their offense, and they just kind of started playing ISO with Boyd. That worked a lot, but when one, they're playing for twos, where High Point at times was playing for threes, and so they lost a little bit on math. I also think that some of the other guys not getting the basketball late, they didn't play as hard at the defensive end. And then I thought High Point caught a heater, and you can see just how talented they are. And the big thing is that they didn't let High Point dictate tempo because they wanted to play fast, but playing fast against a team that plays fast every game, both of those teams, Arkansas nearly lost to them too. Now, like this, it's not a fluke. So I thought there were a couple of decisions by players in key situations. I don't think Nick Boyd guards anybody, by the way. Like he had a great year with the Badgers. Like he didn't guard anybody. And sometimes that goes by the wayside for people because we only look at box scores. But if you're going to be a Final Four guy, a leader of a team, at some point you got to go like, hey guys, we're going to guard, get behind me. I don't think they guarded well enough. I thought the players made a couple of curious decisions on shots, and they got themselves beat. And unfortunately, they're one of 2 or 3 teams that got upset in the first round. And what they had an incredible season when you look at their regular season wins, but it does at least temporarily get kind of pushed by the wayside because another tournament without a Sweet 16 for the Badgers.
Doug Gottlieb joins us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. We talked to Brad Davison with the Wisconsin Badgers yesterday, who said, I hate everyone. I want everybody to lose. I don't, especially those in the Big Ten, and then kind of came to grips with it. How did you do watching Wright State? What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's a hard one because you're like, I don't want them to get more money and more shine. On the other hand, like I think our league's pretty good, so you want them to be right there and be competitive. I totally understand that. I don't always enjoy watching the NCAA tournament games because you're like, oh, we could beat them. We could beat them.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the time where we're like, we couldn't beat them. No, can't. Like I was watching Florida, and I'm like, we got no shot there. Yeah. And they lost, right? I'm like, they're so big, like we got no chance. There's some that you're like, oh, we could beat them. Those teams are going by the wayside. I struggle with it. I do. I don't know if I hate everybody, but there's a point of contempt that you have for watching other people play basketball when you feel like you want your team to be playing basketball. But I also kind of look at it from a different perspective. One, I try and see with Wright State, I try to see like, well, what were we doing wrong that we can take from these guys and beat these guys? And then the next thing is I just pick up things like, oh, we run that. Oh, they do that a little differently. Oh, they substitute differently. Oh, that's their zone. We run a zone like that. So I kind of don't, exception of Friends, I don't care about the jerseys winning anymore. Now it's about picking up a tip from a pro. That's really what it is. Just watching these guys work and seeing what they do. I mean, like I thought when Florida got beat by Iowa, for example, I thought that ending sequence was fascinating. Fascinating. Obviously, it starts with Florida missing a free throw, right? Every great shot, comeback, whatever. It's like in baseball, right? Every ninth inning comeback starts with what, Trevor? You walk the first batter.
Sure.
Right? Like, I walked the first batter. And then, of course, every great end of game shot is like, well, he missed one of the 2 free throws. So they missed 1 of 2. But then they called timeout to set their defense. Which is a hard one because I'm always sitting there like, okay, if I call a timeout, I set my defense, but he gets to run a play, right? So they call a timeout to set their defense, and they put a guy on the ball, which I don't believe you have to put a guy on the ball all the time. It's one of those we've had it beaten in our heads that Kentucky would have beaten Duke with the Christian Laettner shot if they had a guy on the ball. Well, this is not that situation, and not necessarily. Right. So they put a guy on the ball and then they deny Bennett Sturts the ball. Well, if you're denying and you have a guy on the ball, now all of a sudden you only have one person committed to Sturts. And so like Iowa wasn't running anything. He was just going to catch it, rip, and then had a ball screen and then, play 3-on-3 in the back end and try and attack and get to the free throw line because that's what he does. He hadn't made a shot all day. But Florida takes an extra chance and tries to run through the pass. And that allowed a 3-on-2, and then Fulgaris, who played against us last year, gets a wide open corner 3 and jars it. Then
Northern Kentucky?
No, he was at Robert Morris. He was MVP of the league.
Robert Morris. Oh, yeah.
Which is great because we'll get into the portal conversation because it's a legit. We can use him as the portal conversation for guys that leave the Horizon League.
Truth.
So then Florida comes back and they run essentially the same end of game play that I put in probably mid-season, which is you put a ball screen on one side, and on the weak side you run what's called a hammer screen, which means the screener comes from the weak side corner to the weak side wing, and then your shooter goes because normally it's ball you man, right? You're in between the ball and the man. So if you drive to the right baseline, which is what Florida does, normally you're going to be into help, and now we're setting a screen for the weak side corner. The Spurs kind of brought it to America. It's a Euro play. Anyway, they run it and they actually execute it, but the screen was too early. It wasn't really set. And then I forget which big guy, I think Condon cut in, but he cut to the basket instead of to the block. If he cuts to the block, he lays the ball in and it's tied and we go to overtime. And then it came out later that Florida wanted to foul Iowa when they were up 2. Anybody other than Bennett Sturts, they were going to foul, play the math, and have the last second shot. Or if they missed a free throw, then go to the free throw line. So all of these things are what goes through my head, not I hate everybody.
I'm just watching the game.
Sure.
By the way, I'm super annoying to watch the game with because that's what I'm doing. They're doing this. Like I'm just trying to watch the game. Just trying to watch the game.
It's fun. I love that side of that, though.
Yeah, you're watching a completely different game than the rest of us. Doug, when we talked to you about the tournament, we had a conversation about the buzzer beaters and the Cinderellas versus just seeing the best athletes and the best teams. And you said a lot of times when it gets down to the Final Four, though, that's what you want to see. You want to see the best teams playing. Well, at the Sweet 16 level, we have 2 4s, a 5, a 6, 9, and an 11. Any of those going to make it into the Final Four in your mind?
You're just throwing out numbers. I don't know what seed, what numbers are.
I mean, Texas is an 11, Iowa's a 9, Tennessee's a 6. Any of those guys got a shot, or do you think it's going to be Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and Houston?
The second part would be my best guess.
Okay.
I mean, again, huh?
I was going to say, is that where this is at, though? I mean, we were just talking to you about how you don't think Green Bay at certain levels has a chance. Do these teams that didn't have a chance in the past, or even the ones that Josh just mentioned, are we at a position now where it's kind of stupid, or do you still got to play the game?
You still got to play the game. You still have a chance. If we play Michigan 100 times, I think we could beat them a couple.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, they're so big and so talented. Like,
to Josh's point, apples to apples, you're going to take the bigger, talented, higher seed team.
Yeah, and like Michigan's team's probably $10-11 million. We're not $500,000. So, I mean, it's not everything. And, you can, the big thing is that the equalizer used to be that you could have like a Miami of Ohio, older team, shoot a ton of threes, kind of trick the other team, get them behind, they get nervous, whatever. But, I mean, you saw Miami of Ohio, who's kind of the best of our level. And they played Tennessee, and Tennessee's just so much better than they are. Now, there are a couple that you feel like you could sneak up on, right? Maybe they don't play as hard. They're super talented. You get them early rounds, whatever. But by and large, the other thing with those teams are they buy our players. So maybe not their starters and stars, but many of them. I mean, even High Point, right? Like High Point's got a bunch of guys this is their third or fourth schools. They're basketball mercenaries. So they're 22, 23 years old. They've been coached up. They played a ton of college basketball. Like, that's what you're buying. You buy experience. The most expensive thing, big guys are most expensive, then point guards. But if you played Division I basketball, you're more expensive than guys that have not. It's really that simple. Because everyone values that experience. It's a different experience coaching a player who transfers from a Division I school than anywhere else. So to answer your question, and look, there have been upsets in the past. I could be wrong. Like, I don't hate Iowa's draw here, going against Nebraska. I don't hate Nebraska's draw because they're old, right? Nebraska's like a classic rink mass started at Bradley, right? Look at their roster and guys that started elsewhere, and then Sam Hoiberg is a senior. You kind of go through their roster, and they have foreign or transfer or guys that are in their fifth and sixth year, and they kind of play old man ball, super smart, keep you in front, shoot a ton of threes off great offensive actions, right? And Nebraska hadn't won an NCAA tournament game ever before this year. And here they are right there, and they got a chance to go to a Final Four, but they've done so by buying up talent and sticking together. And the way they play is the way that mid-majors used to play, only now it's Nebraska on the front of their shirt.
True. I know you're back to work, but are you sticking around for another one? You good?
Yeah, I can, because I have to meet with Josh Moon after this. So let's do another segment. Let's push that thing
back. Yeah, maybe you're getting a raise per the paper this morning. We got that question. Plus, did you see the big article?
I get a raise?
Yeah, well, it's in the paper. So, if it's in print and black and white,
then true. Got to be true.
10 cents
I believe
an hour.
the quote says, "I'd love to make a little more." That was the last words in the entire article.
Well, if somebody goes like, "Do you want to make a little more money?" Yes.
No.
Yes,
Less, please. Yeah.
All right, more Doug Gottlieb when we come back. We're the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Go read this article quick, and then we can talk about it. Reminder, Wisconsin, it's the home opener tailgate party tomorrow at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel inside the Annex next to the Sportsbook, the best tailgate party of the year. Come party with the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network starting at 9 a.m. with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff, followed by the leadoff show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz from 11 to 1. Potto, the place to be with free parking, free Surfside drinks, while supplies last, food, and more for purchase. Games and fun, shuttles to the game starting at 11, and they run every 15 minutes. Join the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network for the home opener tailgate party tomorrow from 9 to 1 at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, Doug Gottlieb, still on the Gruber Law One Call That's All guest hotline. As we transition to GB now, more of NCAA basketball talk, but more about what's happening with your team, Doug, and your squad and your portal and your players and your coaches and apparently your pay. I don't know where we want to start, but it was in the article this morning. I mean, you looked like, man, it's in the article about what you would like to be at versus where you're at and how much money your program needs to succeed, whether it's hiring your own strength and conditioning coach or how much nil budget you have, or apparently making a repair in the Dick Bennett gym. So maybe just bring us up to speed on where your program is at with all of it as we sit here now postseason for you guys.
Does remind me, I played for John McLeod at Notre Dame, and he was a stickler for good English. So when somebody would say, Coach, where am I at? He'd say, turn on the lights. Where you are is basketball. Where you need to go is English class. Never end a sentence with a preposition. Anyway, the late, great John McLeod. No, I mean, just Scott called me and he asked kind of like, he asked a bunch of questions. And what I tried to explain to him was like all of these things are related. Okay. So we have unbelievable support from the school and support from local donors. And yeah, we need to get more. I mean, next year is the first year you can put a logo. You can put actually 2 logos if you want, sponsorship on uniforms. So we want to use that to make money. I mean, straight up. Okay. But the money doesn't go directly into my pocket, right? And it doesn't necessarily go into all the players' pockets, but we have to raise more money to raise our overall player compensation pool. We just do, I would say there will be more than half the teams in our league will be over $1 million next year. And this is not me saying it as scare tactics. This is, as coaches, we talk.
Crazy.
And it is crazy. But again, if you want to compete. Now, to get there, we can't get to $1 million next year. That's our goal, but we can't get to $1 million. To get there, I have to play a certain number of guarantee games. And for people who don't know, that means we get a check to go play at somebody. Like we played Kansas this year. We got $110,000 plus free rooms. Okay, so what do we make on that, right? You take however much it costs to travel, we saved on the rooms, and there's the profit that goes into the pool of money. And we do, the women make money, they raise money, their women get paid some as well. And so we don't share those resources, but again, they have the same issue we have where, okay, you got to take that money and then you got to take expenses, right? And you just have a balance sheet and everything comes off the same balance sheet. And my point about the Dick Bennett gym is I thought the floor is fine, doesn't need to be redone. It was just simply scheduled maintenance for it. And I was like, wait, how much does it cost? They're like, like $50,000. Like, don't do it. Save that money because now we can use it. We did a better job this year in our travel. We did a better job this year in making sure they always had food. And when you're like, we'll always have food. Like, no, what I mean is when they get done lifting, we want them to have protein shakes. And then when we get done at practice, we make sure that they're fed as well as possible, especially during break, because otherwise you're just leaving it to them to go and find something to eat. And that's not a smart proposition with college kids, right? We want to. So anyway, all that, every penny is accounted for, and I don't waste anything. And, we cut our recruiting budget like in half. Why? Why are we going to see a bunch of kids out of state that we're not going to recruit, right? It's everything in our cars we can, and then only Eric Sanders went on the road to see some junior college kids who were recruiting. But when we went to do junior college, we went to the jamborees where there's 20 in one spot instead of going off to Timbuktu to just see two teams play. Tried to be smart and tried to save money, all while winning games and then earning more money that way. And then again, this is all in relation to why we don't need to play at the Resch right now. We make substantially more money playing at home because we spend less money. Right? The players like it more. I like it more. It's a better environment, and we make more money. So that's why we're doing it. And again, like if you want to write the check to make the difference between playing at the Resch and playing here, I would say I'd take that check, and then I would talk you into we'll still play here, and we could use all that money, right? So that's really the point of it. Is I don't know if I didn't read it, so I don't know if Scott included it, which is I'm the last. It's the last of my concern is my compensation.
Yes, he absolutely
My
included
assistant
that.
coaches need to make a little bit more money because I hired one more than some other people have. And so they were kind enough to give me kind of a discount last year. I'd like to give them a raise because I think they earned it. I know they earned it. So that's it. That's what's at stake. We got to negotiate with our current players, trying to keep as many as we can. And then we got to negotiate with new players and try and get them in the door and try and save some money in some smart spots. And then try and go and get some dudes to take that next step with this program.
Talk about that for a second, Doug, about just losing players, gaining players, the transfer portal, how you guys are viewing all of that.
It sucks. It sucks. I love coaching all of these guys, even the ones that don't play. Like I have the best. They're great kids. Do you know what it's like to have to have a conversation where you're like, dude, you got to go. Or a kid come in here and just say, I'm going to leave. Like, what? Like you just said you had like the best year ever. You love your teammates. You love your coaches. Like, yeah, but I'm going to go and try the portal. Like, why? But there's
money.
Correct. And you know, there's one guy who's in the portal right now who was told by his agent that he's going to make 2.5 to 3.5x of what we offered him. And I tell our guys, like, dude, look, dude, if you can make 3x of what we're paying you, and that's what's important to you and your family, then I will pick up the phone and I will get you that. I will get you every last penny from whatever school you want to go to. But I don't know if he's going to get that. So we leave the door open. We're like, hey, dude, here's what we're offering. This is the most we're going to offer. It's a great deal. We love you. We want to have you here. We'll do anything we can to keep you. I can't bankrupt my team and have like, we're not built to where we have like one dude making all the money. And it's not how I want to do it. Not how I'm going to do it. So I'm willing to pay these guys above what anybody else has made playing here. But I also want to make sure they're getting all the stuff. And then, you know, if you can stay here and play here and get what Rudy got, where Rudy, he's not buying a beer for the rest of his life. He's going to have a job, whether with me, with Rodak Construction, with Malat, everybody will hire him. You know, the Village Industries will probably hire him to be their front man, right? With LT retiring. There's a benefit to staying here, especially for your senior year. And you just have to have all those individual conversations.
It's super interesting hearing that, though, and just we kind of figure out the conversations on the recruiting side, right? Those are a little bit easier to understand. It's you're seeing a kid in high school making a decision where he's going to want to go, and you're selling UWGB and what the program can do for him, blah, blah, blah. But to the kids that are there and the kids that just experienced it, who are now being tempted by other schools, bigger schools, to go somewhere else, and you have to say, as you're also trying to convince more people to come in, you're saying to the guys that you've already built the relationships with, no, you got to stay too. We need you too. That's got to be tough.
It's hard again, and it's every conversation is going to be different. There are conversations we have with players, even recruiting, where we tell them, look, I know this is not your dream school. Okay, so next year, if you have the kind of year we think you can have, like, I'll pick up the phone, I'll help you. Like, it's not a transactional relationship, it's more transactional. The difference is a lot of these kids, it's not a transaction. It's a very true, honest friendship, relationship, mentorship. And so you want to be fair to them. You know, it's like, hey, like if I could coach in the Big Ten, would I do it? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would do it. I would do it because it's the best, right? And every arena is better. You know, the popcorn's better, the practice facilities, that all the things that you think are frustrated, I would do it. And I'd probably make $3 million, you know? And I'm not all about money, but I have a daughter who's chosen her profession to be the most expensive sport on earth, right? Hey, could you find something I know nothing about that's just going to cost me money day after day after day after day after
Horses.
day after day? Yeah, she's equestrian, right?
Proud
You know.
dad moment.
I'm going to see her in the Big 12 championship.
Of course you are.
I love
Yeah.
my daughter Harper, but God, she's a check writing. Plus,
Yeah, with a blank
I mean,
check,
she
you're
just
going.
goes through it. It's like, dude, because she has my credit card. You know, she gets a spending limit of credit card. Like, dude, how many times are we going to DoorDash in a week? Like, what's going on here? Okay, like you're on scholarship, right? You go to training table, put some things in your knapsack before you go. Anyway, if I pick Big Ten school, right? I mean, my dad went to Ohio State. Well, Ohio State offers me the job at $3 million. Like, I'm gonna take it. So if Ohio State says to one of our guys, like, "Hey, man, we're gonna offer you $750,000 to come play basketball for them," I have to go. Like, dude, if you're gonna play, you got to go. But again, we talked about Fulgaris, right? What's the kid from Trevor? What was the kid from Wright State with the big red beard? He was like the preseason player of the year last year.
Noel.
Brandon Noel, right? So Brandon Noel, I think he got like 500. Okay, got like 500 to leave Wright State and go to Ohio State for his senior year. Okay, so this is the perfect one. Would he rather be at Wright State, and maybe they could have paid him 200? Okay, made the NCAA tournament, been player of the year, been like a legend in Wright State history, or go to Ohio State, come off the bench, they squeaked into the tournament, they played one game in the tournament, and they got beat, and then they're home. And that's like a good scenario.
But he makes $300 grand more.
Fulgaris was the MVP of our league. He averaged 14 a game, 14-9, right? This year he's averaging like 8-4. Now he's making real money. I think he's making the 6s or 7s at Iowa. Okay. And you know, he's Italian, so it's not like he grew up dreaming of playing for Robert Morris. He was there for 2 years. And we use that as an example. Like, look, dude, do you want to go? Like, here you play 30 whatever minutes a game. Coach G lets you go. Like, I'm not, if they take by and large the right shots and right decisions, they're going to make a mistake or two. Like, I'm not, when I get onto them, it's usually about their effort or about something we've talked about previous in the game or in a timeout. Like, you get to play here and be a dude, and you can be a legend in GB. Every Packer game you go to, people can remember you. Or you can go and spend 9 months at a school, make more money. It's really cool, but you're not really part of the fabric of that school. Like, it's a hard balance when you're 21 years old or 22 years old or 19 years old. You're like, okay, this is what I know and this is what I don't know.
300 grand more at 19
Yeah, it's really
years old?
hard, right?
Are
but then
you
you say,
kidding me?
but wait, then here's
Is it
another
that
part to it,
hard?
Trevor. It was like, if it's your senior year, if you go and average 5 or 6 points a game, it's gonna be really hard to get you a job overseas playing ball. If you do, you're gonna get a gig overseas making like 50 to 60, right? Which is nothing to sneeze at. It's still a great experience, but you won't be making real money until year 3 or year 4. And oftentimes guys wash out by that because they're just worn down by, like, man, I don't want to be away from my family for $70,000. Like, I'd rather just go work. So,
well, and to your point though, but how many guys that make $300,000 more need to go and do that? Or if my bank account says 500 grand and I'm probably not going to have a career overseas, let's have a great life, you know?
But do you have a great life if you make 500 grand 1 year at a place that you're not going to really be at home?
Well, certainly think it's a head start, and that's part of the problem, right?
I mean, coming from someone who never made 500 grand.
No,
Yeah,
again,
like
this is look, we're having the real conversation that these kids have. And so
Yeah,
I
a lot
mean
to
this.
handle.
I mean this when I say it, okay? If any of our kids leave Okay. If anybody says anything bad about any of these kids, you're wrong. You're the problem. Okay. They may make a mistake. It may be better for them to stay here. Okay. And for the rest of their life. But have you ever been in a situation where you could make good money and stay at a place, or you could make huge money at a bigger, better, environment, right? Again, like none of us are arguing that the Big Ten isn't an incredible experience. Those are incredible universities. It's not like just the basketball team; they're incredible universities. But you're not going to be a part of the fabric of that place, right? It's very much a transactional relationship. You don't know what your role will be. It definitely won't be the same role you have here. You don't know what the guys are going to be like because they're going to have a new team, just like we're going to have a mostly new team, right? You don't. There's lots of things you don't know, and I'm telling you that it will hurt your ability to make money overseas because your stats are going to go very likely down, right? Anthony Roy, it didn't matter. Like I mean, he's making $700,000 playing there. You know, I mean, like
yeah, that's a lot of money.
He's not from here. He wasn't staying here. It wasn't the plan or whatever. So, but I mean this, like, imagine that conversation you have to have with your parents, with your girlfriend, with your friends, with your coach, where you're like, coach, I love playing here, but what do I do? And the answer is like, I mean, I want you to stay. Here's the most I can possibly do.
Oop, he got a phone call.
Yeah, I did.
All right, we got to go anyway.
Yeah.
Happy Wednesday, DG. Happy New Year, buddy. We did not do that on purpose, but we were about to wrap it up.
But we did have to go.
All right.
Great
Doug
conversation
Gottlieb.
from Doug.
Awesome. And Jeff and Katie from Luxembourg and Brian and Hudson. I mean, there's so many good ones. We're going to copy and paste these into a sheet so that we can get with this stuff with Doug next time he joins us next week, hopefully 8 a.m. Wednesday morning. Doug Gottlieb joins us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. We cross over with our friends from 9 to noon next. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Hey, Wendy's has the official dunks of March Madness, which means you get the iconic chocolate frosty paired with fries. It's the perfect opportunity to dunk crispy, salty fries into a decadent chocolate frosty. It gets even better because when you order from the official dunks menu, you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a variety of prizes during March Madness. Order from the official dunks menu today. Download the Wendy's app for the official dunks menu and for a chance to win big this March Madness.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Crossing over with 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Rami joins us now. We got about 3-ish minutes, Rami. How's life?
Good.
Bud?
Good. Can't complain. Can't
Got any
complain.
good jokes?
Opening day is tomorrow. I do have a comedy show tomorrow at Falcon Bowl. If anybody in the Milwaukee area wants to come and check it out. So I do have jokes. You'll hear them tomorrow night if you want to come out.
I think you should have a joke of the day on the show.
Tomorrow's going to be a day, boy. I'm going to go straight from opening day to a comedy show. There will be drinks flowing and food being eaten, and I might not make it to work on Friday. I'll just tell you guys right now, I might not make it to work on Friday
for a completely different reason. There's a chance I might not be here on Friday. Yeah, Friday's gonna. No, trust me, I'm not pulling a day after opening day. But yeah,
like taking off the day after the Super Bowl.
No, I would never.
That?
Right. Trust me. If I could, I would show up here. I would pull a Tommy. I'd pull a Tommy Chonga and just pass out on the couch.
I don't think. I mean, unless your team is in the Super Bowl, I don't. It's not egregious to me to take the day after the Super Bowl.
I concur.
In sports radio.
Thank you.
I don't see a problem with that.
Oh, checks in the mail, Rami. Checks in the mail.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
How do you feel about drilling holes into pavement on property that's not yours?
I don't drill holes into pavement just in general. That seems like too much. That seems like a higher level of handy than I am. I'm a certain level of handy. Drilling holes in concrete, I'm not that handy.
All right, now answer the damn question. So here's the backstory.
Okay.
Pop-up tents at AmFam Field are from time to time used. They're screwed into the concrete, okay? They use concrete screws that are a 1/4 inch, and they screw all 4 corners into the concrete.
Okay.
And it's genius, and it has troubled some today.
Because it's not your property to drill holes into.
Just fans are doing this?
Yeah.
They're not. These holes aren't drilled in the concrete already.
No.
By the Brewers.
No.
Or by AmFam Field.
No.
You can't just take it upon yourself.
Thank you.
I agree.
You can't just take it upon yourself to drill holes in the ground for your stupid tailgate.
See, the thing is that Trevor has these thoughts, and then he forgets at times that when he says things under his
he's
breath
on the
like this,
radio.
he's still on the radio.
He's still on the radio.
Listen, I'm not promoting it. I'm not
He was
condoning it.
promoting it.
I'm simply saying it's genius and it works very well. That's it.
What's
I've never
wrong with
done
the
it.
brick to weigh it down? Like, just tie it down
Right.
to a brick. Why do you need to drill holes into concrete?
I mean, they make weights.
Yeah.
He can bring for that specific reason.
Yeah, that seems excessive. That seems excessive.
Anyway,
to me.
we have the ability for people to take back certain takes on Tuesdays. I'm wondering if
Take
that one will
Back
make an
Tuesday.
appearance.
Okay.
I'm not taking that one back. It's genius.
Okay. Well,
Genius. What's coming up on 9 to noon, Rami?
Oh, well, we're obviously talking some Brewers, and what would you guys? I know we're short on time. Just like nutshell, like quick version. What would you consider a successful Brewers season in 2026? That's the discussion we're gonna have right out of the gates.
You go.
I said they need to get past the first round. That has to be the benchmark.
Okay, Trevor.
They have to win the Central again.
Okay.
Anything less is uncivilized.
All right.
Rami,
There you go.
John Kuhn, 9 to noon. That's up next here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Our thanks to Doug Gottlieb for joining us yet again on a Wednesday. Join us tomorrow morning, Dario Melendez from WISN Channel 12, and maybe a surprise guest. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See you tomorrow.
Because we're not done yet.